Here we are at the Leavenworth County Campgrounds, right here on the beautiful Missouri River. We got the Missouri Bridge right up this way. I'm going to call the parameter this riverbank right here. It goes all the way down to that tree line, and then you can see the fence a little better behind this bathroom structure. Well, it has showers and stuff too, a bathhouse. And it goes straight down. The little kid you see walking is my son Owen. I don't know how well the camera's going to pick it up, but right here is actually asphalt right under my foot. But as you can see, all of this sand and silt that got washed up out of the Missouri River when we had all the flooding about a month back. We're going to walk down this way actually into the campgrounds, which is this area right in front of me. And normally we see like squirrels and rabbits and dragonflies here on the coast and butterflies, and you can hear crickets and grasshoppers, and normally mosquitoes are up and around because, you know, water. Oh, hey, there went a bumblebee. I don't know if the camera caught that, but bumblebee went bumbling by. But you can see a lot of the wash away silt. Hey, be careful with your water, bud. Got a little stream here that was like runoff and stuff. You can see how the sand eroded down as the water came up over the river and straight up. Back here behind this fence, we've got train tracks. And they're good 10, 15 feet higher than this campground is here. And when we had the flooding about a month back, it was all the way up and over those rail tracks. But, you know, let's see. Alright. I'm going to call this an open ecosystem. You know, like, we've got bugs getting eaten by little woodland creatures, and the fish that are so prevalent here in the Missouri River, like the bass and sturgeon and bluegill and whatnots. And usually we've got squirrels, but I'm not seeing even a nest right. Oh wait, all the way up there in the tippy top of that tree, you can see a little squirrel nest right there at the tip of my finger. But it looks like it's old and abandoned. But as you can tell, like these trees are quite old and quite tall. And we've got like some greener undergrowth over here, and the trees are starting to rebloom, and it's, you know, coming back here. But this was all grass through here. I think I'm still on the road that goes through this place, but it comes around here in like a semicircle teardrop almost. But we got grills, and all of these pillars are campsites. And you know, there's in-ground grills, there's above-ground grills. Like the in-ground is more of like a smoker type grilling area. But these tree stumps you see all throughout here, actually, well, they all came from here, but most of them actually aren't stumps. A lot of them was like one tree got cut down and they cut it into sections to be like seating around the camp areas. But like this big old hulker over here we've got, this tree has to be a couple 100 years old. Just look at the size of that monster. I know it's hard to tell from where we're at right here, but as we get a little closer, you can also notice all the cracking from the area drying back out. But I'm sure, you know, this time next year, this area is going to be nice and lush and green from all the fertile silt that came out of that river about a month back. But, oh, buddy, don't climb on that. Don't climb on that, because I told you not to. Okay, well, this actually looks like two. Get down, I'm trying to show the tree. But this actually looks like two trees that grew together at one point, if you can see that. But it's like solidly together here at the bottom. But this is one of the few trees that was actually here and in here. And I remember when I was a little kid, this tree was actually still up and alive, but it got hit by lightning at one point. But yeah, we've got like some dry rot straight through the center, and I believe some sort of animal might have been living in there at some point. Oh, and don't climb up on it. But you see how close these pillars are? When I was younger, this campground extended a good 15 feet past, and you can see how the water over years of flooding has eroded away the river line. But just, I don't want to go too close to the edge here and fall into the river, but you can see this big bit of cracking right here, and it's just, woof, step on that, you're going straight in. And again, right through here, like the sand is really starting to dry up, and we don't want to, hey, stand back. We don't want to go falling into that river. But right now, this place is looking pretty degraded. We're coming back over here where you can see the grass starting to regrow, but it's gonna be a slow process before it's lush like it was. Like you can see these trees over here, how they're kind of crooked. They all used to be going straight up, but with all that water, the ground got so soft here in the river current, it started knocking the trees askew. But we got a little water source here, all kinds of grills around. They got a little playground area. This is a little better view. You can see where my finger is. That's actually the train tracks right back there. And we got a power station. You can see the power lines. Like this whole place is rigged up with power for like the big fifth wheel trailers and all of that when they come down here to camp. But we're heading over this way to this dogwood tree. And I'm going to show you this has to be at least a 75-year-old tree that in the flooding, it became semi-uprooted and is now actually laying over into the river. It's pretty impressive just how powerful water can actually be. But we've seen a few birds come flying through here up the river, like saw geese, I want to say a herring, saw some robins over this way a little bit ago. I imagine they may still be nesting up there somewhere. I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm hearing a little bit of bird chirping somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where. Again, I don't know if the camera's picking it up too well, but we got a dragonfly right there where my finger is. Love dragonflies. They're super pretty. And we get the purple bodied ones here and the bright green bodied ones. And it's really cool to see. But you can just see like how the water came through here and just how it just decimated the area. And it's so impressive, so many of these trees, like these much younger trees that didn't have as nearly established root systems, are still standing strong. Like, he's a little crooked, we're not straight up, but he's upright. He made it. He survived the flood. But you can see these pillars to denote like campsite, and this right here where my foot's kicking, that's concrete. These pillars are driven a good 5 or 6 feet in the ground. You see that wiggle? Bam. Almost knocked out the pillars to let you know, like, hey, this is campsite B or A or whatever they call them. But right here in front of us, you see these vertical pillars? This is kind of letting you know, like, hey, you're actually going back into what they consider a marshland, because about 150 yards back this way, there's a river estuary that runs. And everything beyond that point is actually protected. And you need permits and passes to go wandering back there. And I don't want the game warden on me, so we're not going back there. But here's the tree I'm talking about. We'll head over this way and I'll show you the end of it first. But, you know, you can hear the water lapping up here on the line, and you see more drainage. And oh, we got some cottonwood pollen up in there. But yeah, this is not normally like this. And you can see how the water just washed the banks away. But this is the top of that tree that I'm talking about right here. And I think all of this underbrush, it doesn't look like it was a part of a tree. It actually looks like parts of it have been brought up here, and it would not surprise me. We see beavers, usually not on the river, usually more in the creeks, but We get beavers sometimes. I'm not seeing one, I'm not seeing a hole, but who knows, there might have been a beaver there at one point. But yeah, you're seeing like that's the whole big trunk. Like it's going a good 25, 30 feet. And this mound right here, that was its root system. Completely took this whole tree up and over, just like it was nothing. And it's not a small tree. You can see like, here's the whole width of the trunk, like 75, 80-year-old tree, easy. Yet the smaller trees surrounding it stood strong. Not exactly sure why that happened. Or like this underbrush here. We're blooming, we have leaves, we're doing good. We've got grass returning. Like, it seems like this area is naturally fixing itself, slowly but surely. And it's pretty impressive after about a month's time, considering a month ago this was still 5 or 6 inches underwater. But, you know, it's a whole lot better than being 10 feet underwater. You know, I think I've done a pretty good job of describing the dynamic changes of how the flooding affected this campground. And not just flooding, but you see all the man-made things. Like, this is an electrical box, and they actually have to come back through here and rewire all of the electrical boxes for the fifth wheels because the flooding shorted them all out. But we got another water spigot, you know, fresh water down here at the campgrounds. You don't want to be drinking that river water. Well, you could if you know how to purify it. It's not what you're looking for. This is kind of a semi-luxury camping area. But you see, we're getting a better view of these train tracks. They come right up at the top of this slope. And I think that those train tracks and all the vibration and noise they cause keep a lot of little small woodland creatures out of here. But I'm surprised, you know, like, half of this park is always shaded, as you're seeing. Like, super sunny over there, always shady over here. And the always shady side is the side where that we're actually seeing more grass returning to and starting to grow, as opposed to over by that riverbank. But that riverbank currently is 90% sand, and at least this is still dirt. But you can see this is actually the road that goes through this campground, and this is an opening area, and this is a camp stall, that's a camp stall, you know, things. There's another little camp dock right there. Oh, there you go, asphalt. Actually, this is already washed away back down to concrete, or asphalt. Out of the way, tomato, surfacing. But we've got like these young growth trees and older growth, and we've got pines and poplars and pin oaks and old oak. And we've got those trees right here in the center of those trees that have like the spiky ball seed pods. And, you know, we got a dogwood over there. There's some cottonwood trees back in that growth. As you can tell, this is all just cottonwood pollen, which I'm sure would be a great food source for smaller insects and things like that. But with all this flooding, it just totally wiped out the insect species around here. Don't touch that, Owen. But it looks like we got a little hole here. I don't really want to mess with that hole too much. It looks like it's a small burrow of sorts. Stay back. That might be for a garden snake or something like that, but we got snakes. Hold on. Oh, there's a little buggy going. Looks like a black ant, if you can see that. We get black ants, red ants, beetles, stink bugs, June bugs, all kinds of things like that up and around this area. Got little birds flying through. We were hoping to come a little closer to nighttime, but I was worried about getting eaten up by mosquitoes. And you could see just south of here down this way, and just north of here, we've got, up north we have the limestone caves, and down south, if you come down this way, you'll actually, around the bend is Weston Bend State Park. And they've got, you know, some caves up under the park that naturally occurred. Pick that up. Well, there's a trash can up this way.
Good. I need a drink.
Here's my water.
Okay, thank you.
And towards twilight, you'll see all the bats fly up out of the caves, and it's quite spectacular to actually see them fly under the bridge. It's pretty impressive, and there's hundreds of them. But you can see these hooks people have put in on these trees and turned it into like a hammock area. But I'm gonna zoom in. You see the height marker on that bridge pylon? We got to where that red blotch is about a month back. We were about 35 feet. Oh, here's a train. There you go. You can see the train tracks. But about 35 feet high. So you can see how high above the campground that watermark is. And how far underwater this place actually was. We were about 20 feet under from where I'm standing. Because we're about 3 feet under the 55-foot mark. Or no, I'm sorry, 25. Wait, no, I was right. The 55-foot mark. And now that red line, we got to 32 feet, which our critical flood stage here in Leavenworth is 31 feet. So a significant portion of our downtown area was actually underwater. Like all of this was. I wish there was a good mark on this pole, like a water line, so you could see. But you can see on this oak tree about how high up that moss is going. Woo, the wind's kicking up and sand's getting in my eyes. But that's about how high the water was. But alright, I think we've accomplished everything. Oh, we went over there. Yeah. But I think we've accomplished everything. We walked around the whole park. We're headed back out now. We talked about the biotic factors, what little there are currently, and the ton of abiotic factors. Like, look at all this sand and tree stumps and rocks and grills and man-made structures they've brought into this campground. And get away from the shoreline, boy. But yeah, like, it's usually a much prettier place than it is right now. Sorry about that. Gotta keep getting on to my son. He's 8 and doesn't exactly know how to listen when he's supposed to. Ah! But yeah, like, I hope you're satisfied with my video and we captured everything that needed to be captured here. Anyway, this is Rachel Rice for the environmental study for Unit 2, and I hope you enjoyed the video.